good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents. This is your boy Casanova from Orlando, Florida, on this awesome and international podcast, Good Wine and Great Laughs, the podcast for wine lovers and hot topics. Ladies and gents, welcome to Casa Casanova. For you that are new to my YouTube channel, what I do here every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., I always introduce the wine of the day. I discuss, give some information about this wine, let know what I think about this wine here, and then after give the information, if you like to find out the wine, if you like to the information that I provide to you related to the wine of the day, ladies and gents, I always post on my social medias right here, and also link it in a picture, a clear picture of the wine of the day. So if you like the type of wine that I'm introducing to you, you want to find out, is that the picture is available on all my social medias for you to get it. And also after that, I always have the topic of the day. I always play some videos, maybe one, two, maybe three, related to the topic. And then at the end of it, I always give you my 2 cents about what I think about the topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like wine, and if you do love hot topics, Good Wine and Great Laughs podcast is the podcast for you. So today is Saturday, October 19th, 2024, and the weather here in Orlando is going to be mostly cloudy, highs of 81 and lows of 68 degrees. Ladies and gents, Florida is still dealing with a lot of issues they have this past week. A lot of people fighting, issues related to not having gas available for them. And I said that at one time, I'm going to say that again. It was a poor management of this government that we have here, because we have plenty of time. One thing about hurricanes, that the government and the news and the meteorologists, everybody give you the population and the local government plenty of chances, plenty of information to inform you what's coming. So you're going to see there's a lot of, the last time I checked was about 16 people that unfortunately passed during this hurricane, but a lot of destruction, especially on the coast side of Tampa, and so many destructions. And my heart goes to these people that are going through that. But also, if you pay attention to my last podcast, you need to hold these people accountable. If you do not know what I'm talking about, watch and listen to episode 11 that give a lot of information about the people that are here, the House of United States House of Representatives from Florida, and also some senators that vote no to provide increasing the FEMA funds to help people. So, enough about that. Let's talk about the wine of the day. And then we're going to talk about the topic of the day. For those that are first time watching my channel, I already listed that every time that you want to find Italian wine, ladies and gents, look for this. I saved this one. You see right here. See this little sticker right here? This label. Say DOCG. Every time you're going to find Italian wine, look for this. And I explained that before, but I'm going to explain again. This is the little sticker, the label that the Italian government put on every wine that reach the highest standard of production. So that means great quality of the land, the grapes, the production in general is one of the highest quality possible in Italy. That's why this wine here got the sticker. So if you want to find out, you're like, oh my God, what good wine, I gotta find, I don't know, I'm not sure. But the thing that you need to look for, if it is Italian wine, once again, look for the sticker right here. So today I have this Chianti right here. The name is Tancia or Tancia, I believe it's Tancia pronounced. It's a Chianti. It's a vintage of 2021, and it says right here it's a product of Italy. It's a red wine. Tancia State was established in 1743, and today a direct descendant of the founding family directs this exquisite boutique state winery, which includes 500 acres of vineyards. Alcohol percent of this wine, ladies and gents, is 12%. Once again, it's a product of Italy, contains sulfites. So, let's see what this Chianti is all about. I do have some other Chiantis from different brands in my wine collection. So let me see if it's Latancia, I believe it's Latancia, the correct pronunciation, is a good one. Okay. It is a good wine, ladies and gents. Chianti wine are never sweet. So if you are about that life of sweet red wine, Chianti is not the wine for you. But for those that like full body wine, I'll give a 9 for this wine right here, ladies and gents, and it make a spot on my wine collection. Wine like these, I prefer to drinking when I'm cooking or having a grilled meat, such as steak, lamb chops, excuse me, this type of meat. When it comes to grilled chicken, I would switch. I may have this time, even though it's supposed to pair fish and white meat with white wine, but I made my house. I drink whatever I want at a Casa Casanova, so it doesn't matter. But that's normally grilled sausages, stuff like that. That's the wine for you that's going to be paired, in my personal opinion, perfectly. So, before I start talking about the topic of the day, I bet you already saw on the thumbnail of this YouTube channel what the topic of the day is going to be. And the topic of the day for season 9, episode 12, it is Latinos for Trump. Watch out! Trump is now invoking the 1798 Alien and Sedition Acts. You may ask Casanova, I have no clue what we're talking about. So, that's why your boy Casanova is going to help you, is going to give you, teach you some stuff that a lot of people do not know. So let's watch this couple of videos right here while I keep drinking my wine. And at the end of the videos, I always do, I'll give you my 2 cents about what I think about today's topic. So, enough talking. It is show time.
The Alien and Sedition Act cost President John Adams re-election. Here's why this act made our nation's second president the first to lose a re-election campaign. John Adams is known to history as many things: the nation's first vice president, the nation's second president, the most vocal supporter of independence from Great Britain at the Continental Congress, and as the father of our nation's sixth president, John Quincy Adams. He is also the first president to not win a bid for re-election to a second term in office. That loss was partially due to his imperial attitude and acts of questionable constitutionality while in office. The one that made the biggest negative impact on his presidency was his passage of the Alien and Sedition Act. The Alien and Sedition Act essentially made any criticism of the government illegal and seriously impinged upon the First Amendment. Adams received a lot of negative publicity for this act, and it was at least partially responsible for his defeat to Thomas Jefferson in his re-election bid, and the end of their close friendship for the next couple of decades. Why did Adams enact the Alien and Sedition Act, and why was it so controversial? Signed into law in 1798 with the backing of Adams' Federalist Party, the act was actually a grouping of 4 acts passed in the wake of the French Revolution, and an undeclared naval standoff with France, known as the Quasi-War. It was meant to protect national security, much as similar controversial laws are meant to do today. Those who were opposed to the act argued that it was not really meant to protect the nation, but to silence any critics of the Federalist Party. The act increased the number of years of residency in the United States required before citizenship could be granted from 5 to 14. It allowed the president to deport any non-citizen age 14 or older who was deemed to be a threat to national security. Not surprisingly, most immigrants who were waiting to become citizens were supporters of Thomas Jefferson and his Democratic-Republican Party. Finally, the act made any written or verbal speech that was critical of the federal government illegal. This last part was the thing that got most Americans really angry with Adams. The act was so unpopular that it was repealed when Jefferson won office over Adams in the election of 1800. However, the portion of the act that allowed the deportation of people deemed dangerous to the United States was quietly allowed to remain on the books and was used to deport people considered undesirable during World War II. Jefferson pardoned anyone prosecuted under the act when he became president and paid their fines. The act itself was a big campaign issue between Jefferson and Adams, as the American public saw the act as an affront to the American ideals of free speech and press. Adams, on the other hand, genuinely viewed the act as necessary to protect the nation he loved and helped found from its enemies. Adams learned the hard way that Americans take their constitutional freedoms very seriously. Though a father of this country and an outspoken proponent for independence, Adams did not believe the majority of the American people knew the proper way to handle independence and must be guided by those who knew better, including himself, naturally. Adams' imperial views ultimately cost him the election and left a stain on his otherwise great legacy. Other presidents have learned from his example, and any tampering with First Amendment rights since then has always been done with much more care and courting of favorable public opinion before being activated.
Ladies and gents, the next video is going to be a report from Keith Olbermann related to what Trump said on his rallies, 2 of them related to the 1798 Alien and Sedition Acts. Check this out.
Here are the Countdown Columbus Day headlines, and surprise, new documentary analyzing his DNA shows it looks like Columbus was not from Italy, that he was a Sephardic Jew, probably from Spain. This actually matters today because if Columbus were here right now, Trump has just revealed he would send him to a concentration camp or deport him. Trump's anti-immigrant, specifically anti-Hispanic, hate speech has now climaxed with a promise to invoke the same law that permits the president in wartime to arrest and detain or deport without a hearing and without evidence of crime American citizens and others at his personal whim based on their race. Not where they were born, not whether they have committed or have been suspected of a crime, not whether they are here legally or not, based on their race. The last time we did this, it was with Japanese Americans, citizens. This time, Trump is aiming to open concentration camps and fill them principally with Hispanics. Trump in California, and then Trump in Colorado.
I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty. Elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left.
Elite squads. Now, where in history did he find that phrase? Oh, in the book of Hitler speeches kept by his bedside. It will make no difference to Trump, newly self-installed as dictator, that the Alien Enemies Act was designed and has only been used as a wartime measure. The last time this country did use it, in one of the most shameful episodes in our history, they rounded up the Japanese. Nearly all that lived in the continental United States, nearly none of them accused of crimes, nearly all of whom had been born here. And you were Japanese if you were 1/16th Japanese. Now, Trump has directed this weapon in peacetime against a population of people who are statistically more law-abiding than Republicans in elected office, more law-abiding than any demographic of native-born Americans. Others will be swept up later. The first time he ran, Trump's ire was directed principally at Muslims and those of Arabic descent. We have seen him attack, quote, the blacks. He went after Jewish Americans again last week. His most recent targets were fully documented Haitian immigrants. But make no mistake, Trump went to California, where he stands no chance of winning the state's electoral college votes, in order to tell his fellow white supremacists there, who have for 200 years or more harbored bitter, irrational, inherited rage at people of Mexican and other Latin descent, to tell them to get their applause when he says that he will imprison and deport and intentionally or inadvertently or both kill the Hispanics. The latest New York Times Siena poll shows that among Hispanic voters, Harris leads Trump by only 54-36. Mike Podhorzer, the recently retired political director of the AFL-CIO, now an advisor there, explains that this poll number, this suicidal poll number, 54-36 Harris, is just what you think it is. Quoting Podhorzer, when we do focus groups with the segment of Latinos that are answering survey questions saying that they're comfortable with mass deportation, what comes out quickly is nobody's told them that things like the Alien Enemies Act gives Trump the personal right to send to concentration camps or expel from this country not criminals, not suspects, not undocumented immigrants, not gang members, not rapists, not murderers, but them. You, personally. Then, says Podhorzer, you explain. Trump will have the right to expel your wife, your kids, you, and no lawyer or court can stop him. You will not even get a hearing. What happens then? Again, quoting Podhorzer, that focus group flips. You bet your ass it does. And how did they not know this going in? How do the 36% of Hispanic voters supporting Trump and his plans to expel, intern, or kill them, how do they not know they are voting for their own expulsion, imprisonment, even death?
Told you.
Pothorser says the media has utterly failed to explain how dictatorially Trump plans to use things like the Alien Enemies Act. They don't, as he notes, work it into daily coverage of the campaign, even though Trump does work it into daily coverage. He said it twice and posted it once just this past weekend. But it's not just the media. How, Pothorser wanted to know, could Vice President Harris have done a town hall on the Univision network last Thursday and never brought this up?
You should.
The good news is all polling indicates that Hispanic support for Trump is not that firm and appears to have reached its peak. It is not growing. And the vice president needs to have a campaign ad up as soon as possible in which she speaks directly to camera and lays this out. And she must say, are you Hispanic? Did you know Donald Trump will invoke a law that allows him to put you in a concentration camp because you are Hispanic? Or to deport you? Or to deport your wife or your children without a trial, without a hearing? This is not about the border or criminals. We can fix those things. What we cannot fix is Donald Trump is a racist who wants to imprison you for being Hispanic. And by the way, the definition of Hispanic is whatever Donald Trump says it is. Reminder that Pastor Niemöller was as ever correct. First, they came for the Hispanics. Who knows who will be next for Trump, but he has now turned this election into a referendum, simply put, on whether or not only white people will be living here. Period.
I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
And if you are still harboring suspicions that Trump is just talking about elite squads and indemnifying the police and using the military domestically, here's a quick reading from the new Bob Woodward book, confirming something long reported, rumored, presumed. Quote, Trump would not or could not let his stolen election mantra go. In June 2021, the former president pushed Republicans to support reinstating him as president. He told his aides he would move back into the White House by August, a date QAnon conspiracy theorists had latched onto in online forums. Quote, he had an army for Trump. He wants that back. Brad Parscale, Trump's former campaign manager, said privately in July. I don't think he sees it as a comeback. He sees it as vengeance. Trump phoned Republican Representative for Alabama Mo Brooks, a staunch Trump supporter, and asked him to publicly call for a special election to reinstate him as president. Brooks, who had supported the plan by Trump, and conservative lawyer John Eastman to challenge the certification of Biden's win, pointed out that Joe Biden was president. Brooks said Biden's victory had been certified and there was no legal pathway for Trump to rescind it. The Constitution provided no mechanism to reinstate a president. Trump, Woodward writes, was enraged. He later withdrew his endorsement of Brooks in the Alabama Senate race. Brooks lost in the Republican primary. This is who we are dealing with. Are you Hispanic? Are you 1/16th Hispanic? Do you know anyone who is 1/16th Hispanic? If so, this advice: pack or help them pack. This is what is planned. If there is good news on this Trump campaign of hate and death and racism and vengeance, it's that even the New York Times has noticed. It reports that 2 weeks ago, last night, Trump railed at his own donors for not giving him enough money to help him turn this country into his personal property. Quoting the New York Times, he disparaged Vice President Kamala Harris as, quote, retarded, unquote. He complained about the number of Jews still backing Ms. Harris, saying they needed their heads examined for not supporting him despite everything he had done for the state of Israel, unquote. If there is more good news on the Trump campaign of hate and death, it's that even Politico noticed. Quote, we watched 20 Trump rallies. His racist, anti-immigrant messaging is getting darker. They wimp out because, of course, because American news has lost the plot. American news has lost the realization that it is a reporter's job to stick his head out the window and say it's raining, not to call around until you find somebody else to say it for you who you can quote, just in case. Politico again, quote, it's a stark escalation over the last month of what some experts in political rhetoric, fascism, and immigration say is a strong echo of authoritarians and Nazi ideology. I didn't say that. I'm just quoting. I called a guy. He told me that. My God, stand for something. Stand for something before you are prevented from doing so. Stand for something before Trump cuts your legs off. Or before Trump decides the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 can be applied not just to ethnicities, but to industries. And he decides his next target with the Alien Enemies Act is journalist Americans. Even those who get this don't really get it. Andrew Ross Sorkin of CNBC literally said he prayed that the impact of the election on the news industry as a financial matter would be taken out of the equation of how the media should cover the election. Even he said that, and even he still got the basic part of this wrong. This is from a Mediaite podcast called Press Club.
I'm going to be excoriated for this answer.
Let's keep it rolling.
I would bet, from a pure just media eyeballs readership way measure, that, and this is what I think Jeff Zucker might have said,
or a certain CBS News chief who will not be named.
Might have said,
Les Moonves.
Was it Les who said this?
I think it was Les who said.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Where I'm going is not good.
CBS News?
Where I'm going is not good. My point is, yes, I think people are fascinated by former President Trump. And so if you're asking me strictly on that basis, what it portends for the next 4 years of the media business,
it's a boon.
It might be. It might be. I pray that I think we should take that equation out of how anybody is supposed to think about this stuff, though.
Right. Andrew, thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Have I gotten fired for doing this?
All of the coverage of those comments by Sorkin make them sound simultaneously more nightmarish than they are and less nightmarish because he didn't say he was in favor of Trump being elected because it would be good for business. But he also doesn't realize he's wrong on that point. He's wrong. He's wrong on it being good for anybody's business. He's wrong on the economics, and he's an economics guy. He doesn't see it. The networks don't see it. The corporations that own the networks don't see it. Reporters don't see it. A Trump victory would not be some kind of boon to the media industry. It would be the end of the media industry.
Right.
There is a false assumption, even in somebody like Sorkin of CNBC, that somehow the cataclysm Trump would inflict on groups he does not like, Hispanics, Jews, blacks, critics, that would never touch the media industry. Okay, there'd be dark, frightening changes, but they'd never, ever touch the profits at CBS. Why, they might be a boon. Trump says he wants to cancel CBS's license to do news. And he said all the others' licenses All the others means all the others. NBC, CNN, the New York Times, the Daily Beast, Fox, iHeart Podcasts. All means all. That none of them have licenses means nothing to Trump, as reality means nothing to Trump. There aren't really news licenses? Okay, I'm creating news licenses, Mr. Sorkin, and guess what? You're not getting one. Go look up what happened to broadcasting and newspapers when Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. Oh, he's a much more interesting character for us to cover. Oh, our industry was just nationalized. A boon, you say. Still, if you are panicking, stop, deep breathe, and get to work. The 538 average of polls is Harris 2.4. On September 24th, the 538 average of polls was Harris 2.4. On September 11th, it was Harris 2.4. On August 12th, it was Harris 2.3. Pennsylvania, per the New York Times poll, Harris 50, Trump 47, Harris by 3. Or with the third parties in Pennsylvania, Harris by 4. Or, as longtime Republican strategist Matt Dowd noted yesterday, NBC has the race tied right now. NBC also had the race tied at this point in 2012. Romney tied with Obama. Right now, ABC has Harris by 2 and CBS has Harris by 3. In 2012, CBS had Obama by 2 and ABC had Obama by 3. You want to worry about something? Worry about somebody in Harris's campaign letting up on the gas of we're not going back and I know Donald Trump's type. You want to do ads on the economy? Go for it. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but go for it in addition to, not in lieu of, the apocalyptic anti-Trump ads. He just says he wants to invoke the law that let them put the Japanese in internment camps, only he's going to use it on Hispanics. Madam Vice President, if your advisors won't wake up every voter in every minority demographic with that, if they won't let you to ask voters, are you next? Does Trump want to put your family in a concentration camp? Fire all of your advisors right now. Also, J.D. Vance is a fountain of anti-Trump ads. Use him. Of course, Vance is going to refuse to say he'd have certified the 2020 election. That's how he got this job. Of course, he's going to refuse to say Trump lost. But in his rush to do that, he said January 6th was just, quote, a few knuckleheads went off and did something they shouldn't do. That's not on Trump, that's on them, unquote. Vance just contradicted a cardinal tenet of the Trump Nazi Party, that the January 6th insurrectionists were patriots and martyrs and heroes acting for America, and Trump will pardon them all. Vance just called them knuckleheads who had nothing to do with Trump. Smother Vance with this soundbite. And to close on a lighter note, every Vance condescending, racist, Dunning-Kruger effect wisecrack about Kamala Harris blows up in his face, wipes the eyeliner off his eyes every single time. But some are so spectacular that they require that some kind of hall of fame be built to house Vance's vast, undulating, radiant ability to find every rake on every lawn in America and step on it.
We didn't tell him beforehand. There's no big in his ear, no cute earrings. There's nothing like that.
No.
So I'm just reminding everybody that this is all organic, okay?
I left my Bluetooth earrings at home, so.
Can't find your earrings, JD. Did you look in the couch? Did you look Did you look between the couch cushions?
And ladies and gents, as you watch these two videos with me, I want first of all give credit to Ancestral Findings and come down with Keith Olbermann related to this video information about the 1798 Alien and Sedition Acts, as well as information about what Trump plans to do. Now, there are a lot of people that still give excuse to Trump, the Republican Party, and some people on his campaign. They say, oh, Trump does not mean that. Trump means that. He's making joking. He's playing around with the crowd. He's just saying that, but that's not what he meant. That's a lie. Because, ladies and gents, trust, believe me, when somebody show who they are, trust me, that's who they are. You know, this man's not playing. If you go back to his first administration, Trump he was in love with Kim Jong-un, the dictator in North Korea. Because there's reports of that. You can Google when he visited North Korea. Because he was in awe of all these people raised up when Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, came and show up. The people applaud, and cry. And then I have a podcast episode on what happened in North Korea. People have to do once, I think twice or 3 days in a week. They have this meeting that everybody has to worship Kim Jong-un, the dictator of North Korea. You can agree and disagree in what direction, or maybe ideas and policies on how we want to do the best, quote unquote. The Republicans and the Democrats can disagree on how to go to point A to point B, which path they want to take. But also, we cannot go on a path of hating each other. And that's what now he's claiming to have the military to act against the enemies, quote unquote, of the people. That means if you do not like Trump, if you don't like his policy, first of all, he doesn't have no policy. Let's go straight to this point. Trump has no policy to help you, but he's concerned about worship me, do what I say, bend your knee, kiss the ring, and that's about it. And then there's nothing that the Congress can do, because if he invoked the 1798 Act, basically he wants to surpass everything. He has the Project 2025 cronies already ready to take the places and the job that is going to make sure that he pushes this agenda. And then if you think you're concerned about your freedom, your liberty, and the way you live your life right now, all this is going to be gone. Especially you Latinos, like I say, Latinos for Trump, watch out. Because he's going to come for the Latinos, all these black people that are black for Trump, he's going to be back to you, including me, because I'm a black person. He's going to come after the blacks, the Jewish, the Muslims, and all that. So for all these minorities that still believing that Trump cares about you, he doesn't. There are two group of people that Trump wants to benefit. Number one, the wealthy and rich people. And the second one is the white supremacy, because Trump is a racist. The evidence is there. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to go to move there today, but I didn't have time. But I'm going to do, before the season ends, we're going to see The Apprentice. It's a movie about who was the mentor, Donald Trump's mentor, to help him to become who he is right now. It's available on select theaters. I encourage you to go watch it, because this basically and because he put it in the court, that he did everything to make sure that this movie do not come out. So I encourage you to look at The Apprentice, Donald Trump's movie. Everybody got a smartphone. You can Google and see which select movie theater near you is available. And I encourage you to go watch it because I saw the trailer. I saw some reports on Democracy Now! Related to this movie and interview with the director. I encourage you to go see this movie. Because, ladies and gents, this is serious. If you like the way your life is right now, even with all the liberties that you have, I'm not talking about the struggle because life is a struggle. From the moment that you're born, from the moment that you die, life is a struggle. But I'm talking about if you like the life that you have in America right now, you can do whatever you want as long as legal. But if you're getting into some illegality, don't get caught. Excuse me. That's what I'm going to say. But on the legal way, you can live your life. You can go, come and please, and that's it. This man is telling you on his rallies and everything that he does, he wants to be a dictator. He wants to be worshipped. He thinks he's God. And he does not care about you, people, the regular people. So, and the Hispanics, the dumb-ass people, the Hispanics and the blacks, and the all minority that think that Trump cares about you. You are a fool. Because this man does not care. He said, I told that before, I'm going to say that again. He said that on his rally in Nevada, he said that to the people. That I don't care about you, I just care about your vote. And what happened this past week in Coachella, California? This mofo make a rally over there because he was sick and tired of people leaving. He doesn't want any regular auditorium that people can come and go as they please. They purposely took this took these idiots. You know, people say MAGA is not my ass got abandoned. He purposely make this avenue, this event on the Coachella, California, not be there, but it's a distance between, some people say 5 miles, 3 miles. It's a distance between where the people park their car to the event itself. People are start passing out. You know, he has 20 buses to move from people to the wherever the designated parking lots to the event itself. Like I said, people start passing out. You know, Magic. There's a bunch of TikTok videos. I made some related to all the people that I saw. And then, at the time to come back, he has only one bus. Because Trump did not pay the bus company to go back and forth. So, there's no more clear example than that Trump does not care about you. But at the end of the day, I said that many times. You know, we all want. This is one quote from. I always take this to my life. One quote. If you go back to the movie Gladiator, in the beginning of the movie, that Maximus, on the first battle against the Germanian, that he said when he does got rally his troops, he said that clearly, ladies and gents. What we do on this earth, it goes to eternity. So let's go to this battle and let's whoop their asses. Quote unquote. He didn't say that, but that's my 2 cents on what he said. But his quote said, what we do on this earth, it goes to eternity. So that's how I believe. If you want to support this man, because if you want to support this man, trust and believe me, you're going to give count of that. Because a whole lot of people, there's going to be a whole lot of terrible things happening in this country and in the world. So I vote with my conscience for the betterment of everybody. I'm not jealous of anybody. I'm not jealous of all the podcasts out there making millions of people, thousands and millions of followers. I'm doing my job. I'm working here to make sure that my podcast increases on my own work. And I appreciate your support. If you like the work that I do, all I'm asking you is to click on the like button and subscribe and share. That's all I'm asking. Your support on that. If you believe that my work is worthy and you like it, please support it. That's all I'm asking. But other than that, I'm not hating on anybody. You know, as a matter of fact, I support all the people that are doing the thing that because I want everybody to succeed in life, be the best, fulfill your potential that we have on this earth. But like I said, ladies, that this is serious business. I can joke around, can laugh around, but this is serious. This election is very serious. If you care about the people around you, if you care about your future as a human being that is equal and share and help others. Now, love your neighbor like you love yourself. That's the word of Jesus for all these people that claim that Trump is a Christian. And all that he does, look at his rally. He went to Detroit, talk trash about Detroit. Went to Chicago, talk trash about the people of Chicago. And everywhere he goes, he went to the Hurricane Maria. When it comes to Puerto Rico, he throw toilet paper, on the crowd over there. This man does not care, ladies and gents. So that's my 2 cents about today's podcast, ladies and gents. That's my 2 cents. So please be safe, be kind, and be blessed, and do the best of what you can do with what you got. And I salute. And I see you next Saturday with another awesome podcast talk and another awesome good one. Holla!
Push I on the block, holding my down, sucker up